So I wanted to make a really quick video because I haven't made a video in a while, and I know YouTubers say that all the time. Pay attention to that. Next time you watch a YouTube video, YouTubers always say like, it's been a while since I made a video. I haven't made a video because something really tragic happened in my life, and I lost someone very close to me, and I'm not gonna go into that story because I wanna I'm sort of like just trying to honor his family, but someone very close to me that I knew for 25 years passed away suddenly a couple of weeks ago. And this has been sort of a theme in my life in the last 14 months. So I lost my grandmother 14 months ago, then my father-in-law died last June, and then someone very close to my wife and I passed away just a couple of weeks ago. And I was on the Facebook group that we have, Real Rap With Reynolds Teacher Talk on Facebook, is a closed Facebook group that you can join. And on there, a teacher was saying that she had lost like her whole family recently. And then she was trying to go to school and like be there for the kids, but she just felt like she didn't even want to get out of bed. And that just made me think that going to any job and dealing with the things that we have to deal with, going back to life after someone has passed away is hard enough. But going back to teaching, I think, is particularly difficult because what you're doing is like any job where you have to care for others is and be emotional, and your happiness is required, and your excitement is required, and your enthusiasm is required. But what do you do when you don't have that? And so what I'm sort of struggling with at the moment, I thought maybe some of you might be able to identify with this, and so I thought this might speak to a certain population or crowd of people, is this. So like I came back to school and I did what I usually do. I told the kids, like when my grandmother passed away, I said like, look, my grandmother was in hospice for a month, then she died. She was very, very close to me. She was my last living grandparent. I already don't have my parents. And so like that was really heartbreaking for me. But she was also 85 years old. She lived a good life. And so that was different. And the kids responded like really graciously. They'd been through that before. And so when my father-in-law passed away, did the same thing. When this recent passing happened, I did that same routine, and the kids were really responsive and really kind about it, but it doesn't last, right? So like it's only like you get like a day or two or three, and maybe you squeak a week out of that. My class is all about the show, right? Like all this stuff that I built in my room is there because I want to make my class fun. And so we're reading Lord of the Flies, and I got like glasses for Piggy, and I got fake blood for the kids to put on their face, and I got like spears, and I did all this stuff in preparation, and then that happened, and I just don't feel like it. Like there's no part of me, like I can't even fake it at this point to just do it and think like, oh, I'll just fake it and like we'll get through it and then I'll just go be sad at home. I was hit so hard with sadness this time that I was like, no, I don't want to do anything. Like I would go home and just like take a nap when I got home and like chill. And that is really hard when your job is to care for people and then you feel like you can't care for them, or they come in and they want to talk to me about something or something's going on in their lives. And a lot of times in my life, it is helping other people with their stuff helps me get out of my own way, out of my own, like helps me work through my own stuff because I'm helping someone else. And this time that wasn't the case. And so look, I would like to tell the people that need to hear this, that when you're going through something, right, no matter what it is, you lost someone, you had a miscarriage, you're going through a divorce, you're separated, you found out that your kids are into something crazy, or someone got locked up, like whatever the story is that, look, I really think that, and I can really only speak to teachers, but that God never gives us more than we can handle. I 100% believe that. But I think we give ourselves more than we can handle all the time. It is us that puts all this stuff on us. My class still has to be the greatest. I have to be the greatest for my kids, the greatest for my classroom, the greatest for the people that I work with, the greatest for my family. And it's like, you don't. Like, if you just don't, it's all right. The world will not burn. Children's lives will not be, their futures will not be lost because you took 3 weeks, a month to figure your stuff out because you're really going through it and it's really hard. The problem with losing someone, and all of you that have ever lost someone really close to you know this, the inside scoop is you lose someone that's extremely close to you, your mom, your kid, your mother. It's just the same as your mom. But anyway, what I'm saying is when that happens, your friends show up to the viewing, they show up to the funeral, they drop off food, they check in on you. But after a week or two, that all kind of goes away. And then you're sort of left alone to deal with your own stuff. And that is the hardest part. It's not the right after someone dies that's the hardest part, because there's this sort of like influx of disbelief and of love from other people. But when that kind of goes away, because people want to get back to their regular lives and your students want to get back to their regular class, you're kind of in this place where there's this tension, there's this pull between I'm really sad and I just want to be alone, and I need to be this other thing. You don't need to be this other thing. I'm giving you permission, right? The guy on the internet, this is good enough. This is as good as it gets sometimes. I'm giving you permission to just say, no, I just don't want to do all the extra stuff. I don't go to the basketball games, the baseball games, the tryouts, the dance recitals, all the things that you're called to do from your family and from your students. It's okay. And so what do you do to get out of that, I think, is, look, if you're like the young lady on Facebook who lost her whole family, you need to look for something more than yourself. I think that there's something in therapy, in counseling, that you really need to invest time and money into, because, we're real good as human beings at repairing wounds that are on the outside. If you went somewhere, my pastor was just saying the other day that if you had a gash on your arm and someone put a Band-Aid on it, you'd be like, no, man, you need stitches. But if you have a gash on the inside of you, like your heart is broken, that your soul has been wounded, then you need to take action to get care for that thing. And so it's about being mindful and getting that care that you need, that it's more than we can handle sometimes, because we're putting too much on ourselves. And so I just wanted to take a moment and say, this is something that I'm going through, and I thought other people might be able to identify with that, and to say, look, take care for yourself. Get yourself a massage, put time and effort into yourself. And here's the thing about self-care. I have found that right now I have eaten, so my mother-in-law was out in town because of this loss. And my mother-in-law is the most classic grandmother ever. She buys the worst, I don't know, I'm looking around like she's here or something. The worst food, like bags of Reese's, like angel food cake with the homemade whipped cream on it that she made. We were eating for comfort, but then I was I could just feel it. I'm like, this isn't going anywhere. This weight is just staying there. And so when she left, that felt really good to do. But when she left, I was like, I really feel like my pants are a little bit tighter than they were before she got here. So that's an easy thing to that's a pretty classic thing for people to start feeling bad about. But I find that in just a week or two, you can totally shift everything. So I started getting up even earlier. My wife and I are getting up at 5 a.m. and we spend an hour together instead of the 25 minutes that we typically spend, an hour together praying, talking with one another, working through things, talking about our pain, our excitement about the future, things coming, like the book coming out, and all this stuff going on. And that's a good time for me to kind of share and to give the beginning of my day to something bigger than myself, and to not just have to spring into my day by just waking up. At night, I haven't been doing anything. I've been making YouTube videos. My book is basically done, and so I'm just waiting on that. There are some small things I need to take care of, but largely I've just been spending time with my family, going home and sitting with my kids, taking a nap if I want to, not staying late after school. It's school's just done, I'm ready to go out the door as soon as I'm done making this video. I've been changing my diet just a little bit, and so in only a week since I've been just changing that, I'm really feeling the shift in my spirit, in my body, in my mind, and that those shifts don't take very long. It's about going and reaching out for help, and then knowing that it doesn't have to be this big, long process all the time. The hurt will still be there, but it's what are you doing to deal with the hurt? It's taking some joy in the process and not just in the goal that you're working on. So if you're going through that, I just wanted you to know that look, even people on social media that everything looks perfect and everyone thinks that you're the greatest teacher ever, and you get all these kind of compliments and stuff that I really, really appreciate. We're going through it too. So I hope that if you're going through it, you're reaching out to someone, you're getting the help that you need, and you're giving yourself the self-care because you deserve it. My friends Adam and Ray have a new book coming out called Teachers Deserve It. I'm just thinking of that hashtag in my mind, that teachers deserve it. You don't deserve to beat yourself up. And my friend Elise always says, that if your car doesn't have gas, the car's not going anywhere. or if the car doesn't have gas, nobody's going anywhere. That's what she says. Her dad used to say that. So look, my best to all of you, and we'll see you soon. Peace.